Hey guys, this is Max Headspace 9mm, and this is my Glock 42. Now, a Glock 42 is a .380 pistol, and I've been carrying this off and on as a backup, and occasionally, on the rarest of occasions, as a primary, for about 2 years now. Now, why would I get this? And why does this gun have such an interesting history here in America? Well, that's what I want to go into today on Max Headspace 9mm. So I was, as you know, if you follow my channel, you know that the Glock 26 is my favorite concealed carry firearm. I've been carrying a Glock 26 for about 10 years now, and it is my favorite. It is the most useful, adaptable, and comfortable gun to live with everywhere you go. But I got to admit, even with a good holster, Kydex, thin, a good belt, no matter what, even the Glock 26 gets a little bit, uncomfortable from time to time. And so I started my search for something for those rare occasions when you kind of need something just a little bit smaller. Well, I looked into the Glock 43. Now that's a single stack 9mm. And I got to tell you, the Glock 43 is exactly, in all dimensions except for width, the same as this gun. And it's a little bit lighter. And I'm not knocking the Glock 43. I think it's a great design for people who want a single stack. But the thing that I really wasn't happy about, and the reason why I ultimately didn't choose a Glock 43, was the fact that it really didn't feel that much different as far as carry is concerned from the Glock 26, and the trade-off of losing the magazine adaptability of all the dozens, maybe even hundreds of Glock 9mm magazines that I have that are double stacked. I just don't think that it gained me enough. So I started looking at the Glock 42. Now, when this came out, people were ticked. I mean, when this came out, everybody wanted the single stack 9mm. And what did Glock do? It released this gun first, which was a .380. There was tons of .380s on the market already that were smaller and much cheaper than this. And a lot of people just didn't seem to think that Glock needed to do that. They weren't interested in the .380. They wanted a 9mm single stack. And so there was a lot of people reviewed this unfairly and were critical of Glock for doing that. So I decided, okay, I don't have a .380. Maybe a .380 is what I'm looking for. When I tried this out, I realized this definitely feels much lighter and smaller than the 9mm single stack Glock 43. And so even though for a .380 pocket pistol, a little tiny gun, it is kind of big. It's one of the largest of the little micro .380s you can buy. But the thing is, once I bought it and I took it out shooting, it shoots like a Glock. That's what I like about this. All the controls, everything about this is the same as my Glock 26. And I took to it very quickly. So I love this gun. I can definitely feel a difference carrying this from this. So this I can actually comfortably carry in a pocket. I can't really do that with this. And I don't even have an inside the waistband holster for the Glock 42 because I don't really need one. It's a backup. I carry it in my pocket if I carry it. I might get one someday, but my primary goes inside the waistband. So what can I tell you about this? After carrying this for a year and training with it, I've got about 1,000 rounds through this gun. And generally my rule is I would never consider trusting my life to a gun and carrying it that I haven't put at least 500 rounds through. And so I did that before I ever carried this gun. And I'll tell you something. One thing that I can tell you that is really, really important with 380s is your ammo selection. I bought every kind of cheap ammo that was available at the time. And back then, 2 years ago, ammo was pretty cheap and available. Not now. And I found that I also bought some hollow point defensive ammo for it. And I took it out and I shot it at various targets. And I found that this gun shoots exactly the same as this gun, except maybe with a little less recoil and some things. So it was very pleasurable to shoot. It didn't feel like it was going to jump out of my hands like some of those really tiny 380s. Now, out of that first 1,000 rounds that I put through this, I noticed that ammo is critical, as I said before. Now, when you buy ammo for this gun, or probably any 380, and it's defensive ammo, there's two things that I learned. Number one is don't waste your money on hollow points. Shooting hollow points into a variety of different materials, I found that most of the time they don't open up at all. So I think hollow points is kind of a waste of money. If you have a larger gun, like a full-size 380, it might open up with a longer barrel. But out of these little tiny compact guns, I don't think that hollow points gained you anything, except defensive ammo tends to have a few grains more powder, and so you might get a little more velocity out of it. But one thing I noticed is pretty much the best thing you can get for a little 380 pistol like this is brass case ball ammo. The only failures I had out of this gun were 2 out of the same box of steel case Russian ammo. I think it was Tula. I got some cheap Russian ammo, steel case, 50 rounds in a box, and 2 of those rounds, they fired and everything, but they didn't have enough velocity to throw the slide all the way back. And so they didn't strongly eject the case. The case wound up stovepiping and didn't strip a new round because the slide just didn't go back far enough. So I can tell you, avoid steel case with these little guns, but in every other way with reasonable brass cased range ammo, anything American made, anything, reasonable, just range ammo, this thing works great. I will tell you the velocity isn't the greatest. It's not as fast as 9mm. It's really apparent when you shoot this at a steel target. So in all of my 9mm, like 115 grain and up, when I shoot at a steel target, the projectile turns to powder. Well, not so with 380. When I shoot this at a steel target, the bullet turns out flat like a coin. It looks like a penny. It just flattens out and it falls to the ground. It doesn't really ricochet back at me, fortunately, but it's not going fast enough to turn it to powder like with the 9mm. So, is it potent enough? Is a gun like this enough? Because for a long time I didn't want to trust anything below a 9mm. Well, here's the thing. If you're tempted to not carry at all, this is better than nothing. As a backup in an emergency, this is better than nothing. So, if you want a gun that is as small and light as possible, you're pretty much looking at a 380, a 32, or a 25. Maybe even a 22. This shoots like a 22. There's just not that much recoil. It's every bit as loud as a 9mm, but it just doesn't kick very hard at all. And all the controls are there, and all the muscle memory, all the training from your larger Glocks is right here in a package that is smaller in every dimension, including weight by quite a bit, and much, much thinner. You know, I didn't notice an enormous difference in thickness between the Glock 26 and the Glock 43. But I do notice a big difference between the Glock 26 and the Glock 42. And it's just enough to make me want to go ahead and carry this thing when I can't carry that. So, yes, this is definitely better than nothing. Yes, I do recommend it. And no, I would not use any of the other smaller 380 pistols from other companies. Not a Ruger, not a Bodyguard. You know, I tried them all. The Kel-Tec, you know, they're all great and they work, but you have so many compromises with those guns, from the sights to the grip to, you know, just everything. I just have a hard time grabbing and firing a gun that's too small rapidly and proficiently. And when all hell breaks loose and you're fighting for your life, do you really, really want to pare down your options to that basic a level? I don't know. I don't think I do. Maybe you do, but I don't want to. So I would say that as far as guns that I would recommend, if you like Glocks, then you will like the Glock 42. And as a backup and as something that you would carry when you really don't want to carry it all, it's highly recommended. You can get lights and lasers for it, though I haven't bothered to do that because that just defeats the purpose of it being as small as possible in my mind. But as a backup for pocket carry, it is great. I really like it. I've been carrying it for 2 years and I'm very happy with it, and I would recommend it. So it gets a thumbs up from me. And I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, anything that I did not cover, just leave them in the comments section. I would love to continue this conversation there. So for now, have a great day. This is Max Headspace 9mm.